This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk through this 2022 Flagstaff Super Lite model 26 FKBS. All right, this is just a I'm going to go over some of the features and tell you how they work. This is not a floor plan video or a sales video or anything fancy like that. It's just to show you the features. It's especially good for people who don't know RVs or are just unfamiliar with this model, okay? All right, so this one here has power stabilizer jacks. So you have two switches, one in the front, one in the back. Each switch operates both jacks, the one on the door side and the one on the off-door side. So you can just see that. It's pretty simple. Now you don't lift the trailer with it, obviously. You're just going to take the shake out of it. Okay, so this right here, well, first of all, you have a fresh water drain down here. You can see that's that white gate valve. That empties your fresh water tank. Now, this port right here, you can't really see it with the camera, but if you go look straight through, there's a shaft coming through the frame with a pin through it, right? That allows you to crank the slide out manually if you have to. See, so if through that port I just showed you, this slide out right here will crank manually. And there's a port further towards the front where the front off-door slide out will crank manually. It just gets you out of trouble if there's some kind of a failure, some kind of problem you have with it. You can always get home or continue to camp or whatever. Let me show you which crank it is. Let's see if it's up here. Okay, yeah, so it's this. Boy, he's got this crammed in here. Yikes. It's this one right here. You can see it's got a cylinder with a slot cut in it to fit on that shaft with a pin through it. Okay. Now, the other crank you get, let me see if I can get this back on here. Sorry about my camera work, but it's not the best camera, and I'm doing everything myself here. But this one right here is for the power tongue jack. In case it was to fail, you can pull this plug out of the top, stick that crank on there, and you can crank it manually. Now you also can use a drill, you know, with a bit in it with a socket on it, so you can do it either way. Okay, so there's the other port that I told you about for the other slide room. Okay. All right, so back to where we were here. This is the fresh water fill here. Now, the most common way to get water to the trailer is through the city water hookup. You just hook the hose on there, and off you go. You're all set. If the campground you're going to does not have plumbing on the campsites, you can pre-fill this fresh water tank here, and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. Everything will work just like you've got city water, even if you don't, as long as you fill this tank. Okay? You don't have to use them both at the same time. They're totally separate of each other. If you have city water, you don't even have to think about this tank or the pump, only if you don't have city water, okay? There's just a shower / sprayer behind here. You've got a huge power awning with LED strip, okay? Your stairs, you can adjust the legs to the terrain that you're on just by pushing up this metal piece there and then sliding the legs up and down. So there's one on each leg, and you can adjust them accordingly, okay? All right, look through this. This you can hang a table right here. They give you a little utility table with it. This is TV signal out, power, and then you have a bracket if you want to hang a TV outside to watch outside. All right, you got outside speakers, of course. These low points have to do with winterizing the trailer, so you have to educate yourself a bit on that. Now, this is the rack that the grill hangs on, right? You can see it's just hanging here right now. The grill is actually a griddle. See, he's crammed this stuff in here pretty tight. The table is right here that I told you about, okay? Holy moly. Okay, well, let me show you this first. It says you have to plug the griddle in before you can use it. It's got a rubber LP line, right, with quick connects on it, and that'll connect to the bottom of the grill and then into this port right here, so you can get to the LP system, okay? I'm just going to look and see if I can see where he's got the griddle at. Oh, there it is on the bed. So that's the griddle in the top right there. You can probably see the rubber hose to connect the LP and a spatula. Okay. All right. So next to it we have, obviously this is the furnace output, and then we have the water heater here. If I can get my finger on here. Okay. So this is the water heater. Now, the thing to remember, the switches are inside the trailer, but just so you know, there's an electric heating element behind this cover right here, so you can run it on electric. If you want to run the gas, because it basically recovers quicker with gas because it's hotter, you can run the gas right here. That's the valve, but the switches are inside. But you never run the water heater without water in it, so you always have to make sure there's water in it. To make sure, you're just going to hook up your city water. You're going to turn on your faucet, your hot water faucet, and if air comes out, then it's not full yet. So you just leave it go, run, and eventually it'll be spitting out water. Eventually you get to the point where there's solid water coming out. That's when you know it's full. Okay, and of course this water heater has to be bypassed before you put antifreeze in the winter. Okay, this is just a hookup for a solar battery charger if you wanted to have one. This is your dump hose, and all this stuff here is your hitch. We'll show you how that operates when you pick up your trailer. It's a Husky Centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control, so it's a nice one. We'll demonstrate that for you, teach you how to use it. Now, up front here you have two 30-pound LP tanks with a automatic changeover regulator. Here you have two deep cycle marine batteries. Right, so there's two batteries wired together. They're wired together at 12, so they're putting out 12 volts. It just doubles the storage capacity. And also, over here, right here, if you can see it, it's very difficult to see with this camera, but right below here, there's a kill switch for the battery. You can turn it on and off if you would choose to. All right, docking lights. I'm looking here to see what we have. I'm trying to do this as I go along here, so just bear with me just a little bit. Trying to get a good look at everything. Okay, all right. So we'll go a little farther. Of course, you have your slide out here. These are both Lippert through frame slide outs. Now you can see here's a dump valve. There's the black valve is for toilet water and waste. That's a black tank. The gray one is for sink and shower water. Okay. There's going to be two, and down here, if you can see the one way up there, there's another gray tank. So you have two gray tanks and a black tank. Always dump the black tank first, which is toilet water and waste, and then you open the gray valve, and that's sink and shower water, and that'll kind of clean the hose out a bit. Okay. After that, you leave the black tank valve open. Then you come back here. Okay. To here. This is your black tank flush, right? So you hook the hose at the dump station on here. Like it says on the sticker, you leave the black tank valve open. You turn on the water and it'll spray out the inside of your black tank, clean off the sensors so you get good readings. It just cleans it out really well. So if they've got a hose at the dump station, you should always do that. Always flush it. Your city water hookup is right here. Remember I showed you that your fresh water fill is here. The city water is the most common way to get water to the trailer. You're just going to put the hose on there, turn it on, and everything works. All right. This one has to do with winterizing the trailer. You draw the antifreeze in through here. You'll have to educate yourself a bit, or if you're going to do it yourself, you'll have to, or maybe you already know how it works. But keep in mind, this trailer you draw the antifreeze in from here. All right. Also, you have a backup camera. The backup camera will activate when you turn your running lights on. You have a ladder, which is a great thing because the manufacturers state that you should inspect your roof every 90 days. So you want to go up there yourself or send somebody up there every 90 days. Look at all the sealant, make sure there's no cracking or separation or leaks that water can get in. Make sure that the roof vents or the roofing material were not damaged by low branches or something like that. Just give it a good inspection. It's very important. People don't inspect their roof enough, generally. Okay, so here we are in the trailer. This is your control panel here. All right, so we'll start with these. Fresh water is empty. That's the tank you fill and use the pump to pump water, like I said. Just so you know, the The water pump is right here to turn that on. Okay. Black water tank is empty. Gray one is empty. It's empty. That's the one in the bathroom, the sink and shower. And then gray tank 2 is empty. That'll be for the sink here, sometimes called a galley tank or gray tank 2. So those are all empty. As they fill, this lights will light up in 1/3 increments till it gets full. Once you get past 2/3, you got to start thinking about dumping the tank, the black and gray tanks. All right. So to light your water heater on electric, you do that. To light it on gas, you do that. And you have tank heaters on this one. That means there's heating pans on all your holding tanks and all the plumbing by the valves. So you can extend the camping season. You can stay out longer in the winter and go out earlier in the spring just by turning that on. All right. So your 2 slide out switches here. You just run them in or out till you hear the ratcheting sound. As soon as you hear that ratcheting sound, you take your finger off the button. And of course your awning is right here. Never leave the awning out unattended. Here, let's do this. Whoops. Never leave the awning out unattended. So if you're not going to be at the campground, you want to roll it in so it doesn't get damaged by the weather. And last but not least on this panel is the Wi-Fi Ranger. Now the Wi-Fi Ranger is a public Wi-Fi signal booster, right? So if you look at this sticker here, this is important. Basically, you're going to put a password in for the Wi-Fi Ranger into all your family's devices, phones and tablets. Okay. So when you go to the Wi-Fi section of your phone, let's say, you'll find this one as it lists all the devices. Tenton 8581. That's you, right? So you'll know that that's your Wi-Fi Ranger. Now, after you're hooked up to it, you can go in a browser, go to this address right here on the bottom line, and then put in this temporary password, change me now 8581, and you'll be able to see on your screen everything that the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. So you pick out the public or the campground Wi-Fi. If they gave you a passcode, you put that in. If not, you just hook up to it. Either way, you hook up to it. And what happens is it boosts your signal. You get a much better signal for public Wi-Fi, and it's just an all-around good thing. Now, for all these devices in here, there's more information in the packet that you get with it. Plus, you can always go to manufacturers' websites and look at their stuff too, because there's tons of literature there and tons of videos for that. Okay. There's one last thing. What was like? Oh yeah, there's also a second function for this. You can also have cellular service through it, but that's something you would have to pay for a monthly fee, and it would go through whoever you're getting your cellular service from. It would be like having another tablet or phone or something. You'd have to pay a separate fee. Most people don't use that. They just use the public Wi-Fi. Okay. All right. So your thermostat is very simple. You have 2 zones, zone 1 and 2. You have your mode button, right? First of all, system button. That's fan. There's gas, heat. Fan high, fan low. Let me get to the other one here. Aha. That shows you my lack of experience on this particular one here. But anyway, you can see I'm going through the different sources. When you're running the air conditioner or the fan is just the air conditioner without the compressor. So when you're doing that, you always want to try and run it on auto. They'll give you low, high, and auto. Always run it on auto for the fan. That's the best way to go. Okay? All right. So the refrigerator is a 12-volt compressor refrigerator. You can see right here, this is that's scattered all over here, but this is a water filter for you have a water filter canister. That's right by the water pump. If you wanted to add that filter, you can. Some people don't use them, some people do. I'm looking to see where you put all your stuff here. This is not, one person who prepped it didn't put it together like I'm used to seeing, so I'm not sure where anything's at here. You have remotes here, obviously. This is your outside bracket for your TV. This is for your smoke detector, of course. Okay, and this is your packet here with all the literature in it. Okay. Now this is what I was looking for. This is the water filter wrench. So before you let me do this here. Before you put this in the canister. You slide this over the canister and you spin it to loosen up. Then you put the filter in and then put the canister back on. The thing is, you always want to remember that if you're going to use it, you got to change it every season. So you throw it out after or right before winterizing, and then after you de-winterize in the spring, you put a new one in. Okay, you got your remotes here. This is the screen for your backup camera that goes in your tow vehicle. All right, let me set these here. Whoops. Okay. So let's see. I'm working my way around here. So let me just point out. The microwave works like any other microwave. Now, let me get out here and show you something. This right here is the vent for the range hood. So it's the range hood vent. Now, if you can't really see because it's black on black, but if you push up on the tabs, the baffle inside will flap freely. You always want the baffle to flap freely when you're venting. Otherwise, keep it shut. But that's important, or else it won't vent to the outside. Okay. I don't know if he's got the gas turned on, but I'll walk you through it. Let's try the gas, see if he's got it on. Yeah, he does. So you're just going to spark it by turning this clockwise. And you got 3 burners and 3 knobs, obviously. The 4th one is for the oven. Now the oven's a little different. It has a pilot light back here at the bottom. Maybe I can spark it. You can see it. There you go. So there's a pilot light back there. So what you do is you go to the oven knob and you go to the picture of the pilot and you depress it. Keep it depressed during the whole lighting procedure. So then you're going to start clicking this by sparking it by turning it clockwise until the pilot light down here lights. After it lights, you still hold this in for another 10 seconds or so. Then you go to operating temperature. Right? Works like an oven does, but when you shut it off, obviously the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay? I've got to pick up space here. I'm going to run out of time. I only have a limited amount of time on these files here. So this device here is your power converter. So what this does is converts AC to DC power. So on this side, you see you've got regular household circuit breakers here. And this is 110 AC, and they're all labeled, just like you'd see at home. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here, and you got 12 volt fuses, and they're all labeled here, right? Also, if these 12 volt fuses blow, they'll light up as they blow, and you'll see them through this tinted plastic. Okay, so you know. This is also a battery tender. So as long as you're plugged in, it'll sense how much energy your 2 batteries have, and it'll always keep them charged. So it'll charges your battery also. When you're towing, your tow vehicle charges the battery, of course. Okay. So let me see here. Keep moving here. This device here is your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector. If it goes off, you take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off, figure out what's going on. Also, if it beeps very slowly, it's telling you your battery's low. It's also a low battery alarm. Now you can drop this table down. You should always travel with the table in the down position, because if you don't, it'll bounce around and break something if you hit the right bump, you know, because it's not fastened down. So you collapse it by clicking this to the right, and then there's hinges here. You just clap the hinges, and you'll set it on these 4 cleats, right? And then you use the back cushions to fill in the space. It's actually another bed, and always travel with it in the stowed position. You got seats, you know, you got lumbar, and I'm not sure if you have lumbar in this one or not, but you definitely have a footrest that's powered, so I can't say for sure. And then you have power plus USB chargers there. Pretty nice. TV works like any other TV. I mentioned you have a fireplace. The fireplace works on 110 AC, so it's a good thing. You can use it instead of, you know, just to take the chill out of the trailer. Instead of using the furnace, which uses up your limited supply of LP, this runs on regular electricity. So, okay, so there you have it. It's on. You can change the appearance of the fire like that. You can go up and down with the thermostat right there. Okay, you have a timer for it, so you can set it to turn on and off when you want it to. So let's say it's getting cool out in the morning, so you could set this to turn on 15 minutes before you get out of bed in the morning, and that way when you walk out here it would be nice and warm. So it's nice to have. your sound, which is right here. You can play discs, CDs, and DVDs through this slot here. You can stream off this USB right here. You can put all your albums onto one USB and then take them with you, for example. You have Bluetooth, so you can hook up wirelessly with your phone or your tablets. You have 3 speaker zones. 1 is inside the trailer in this room, 2 is in the bedroom, and 3 is outside. Now you can set, that's called Zone 3, Z3. So if you want to set the Zone 3 separate of the inside the trailer, let's say somebody in here is watching a video, well, and you want to listen to the radio outside, you can push Z3 and you can set a different source, which would be the radio in this case, and you can set a different volume. So you can set the source and the volume separately by pushing Z3. Okay. Also, one last thing to know is it's AM or FM radio, of course. This USB is in. So if you wanted to have any kind of device and you need to go into the system, let's say it's a game machine to keep kids busy on a rainy day or something, a rainy weekend, you'd set it right here, you'd plug it in, and then you can go right into the system through this USB or this HDMI in. So that's an in, okay? Alright. This locks into place here. You can see that, if you can see the green pilot light there, I hope. Here, let me get from the other side. Right here. See, that's green right now. Hopefully you can see that. Well, you can shut it off if you want, but you always want it on green when you're using the antenna, otherwise you won't get a good picture. Also, this locks into place. I can't push it with one hand, but it locks into place so it won't flip around when you're driving down the road. Alright, so let's see here. Let's go this way. Gotta pick up the pace here. Okay, the sink and shower work like any other sink and shower, except this has a water miser which circulates the water from your hot water heater tank to here and back around. So it keeps recirculating it in a circle, therefore you don't waste water while you're heating it up. So you put it in this mode here, and you turn on the hot, and it'll just keep circulating around so you don't waste good water if you're in a place where there's a drought. You're not wasting water, plus you're not sending water down the drain into the gray tank and wasting space in your gray tank. Just heat up the water. So this will change color dramatically. You'll know that means it's hot, and then you'll go to regular position and use it like a regular shower. So that's the water miser, and it's a water recirculator. The toilet, like RV toilets are, you have to, there's a flush pedal right here. That's the black tank directly below. So you always have to have chemical and water in there before you start using it. So when you get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water, you come in here, you dump 1 dose of chemical in the bowl, and then step on the pedal, water will come swirling out, and put about 1 gallon or so in the tank. And then you're all set. If you don't do that, the smell will be terrible, and it can get clogged up also. So you always want to put water and chemical in there. Also, you have a really nice 4-speed fan. You should always run the fan with the shower, because you want to pull the humidity out so you don't create a climate where you could grow mold or mildew, okay? There's a TV back here in the bedroom and hookups. You would get the one that swings out this way if you want to get one. And if you do, spend the extra money if you can and get one that locks into place. Otherwise you have to hang a strap and it's kind of unsightly. But get a RV type that locks into place, okay? Now, behind this fake door here, you see you got hinges on both sides. You'll undo these hinges here, and you can open up, and that's where you're going to find your water pump. You're going to find your water filter and canister, valves, things like that. So, okay, you always want to know or keep in mind that that's what that is for. So when you're doing any kind of winterizing or anything like that, you'll do it there. I mentioned this is your griddle. Of course, your bed pulls up. There's drawers, plus there's storage in there. Okay. Now this, because this is a 50 amp system, this is pre-wired for a second air conditioner. If you got one, it fits right in here. That's what the sticker's telling us. So it's pre-wired to accept a second air conditioner right here, and it's telling us here that there are the wires for the sensor, the Zone 2 sensor, are behind this. If you pull the switch, you'll be able to fish the wires out to hook that sensor up, okay? Alright, so I think I've got it all here. Okay, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the seals in the roof every 90 days. That's important. Also, you have to winterize it before it's freezing outside, so make sure you take care of that, okay? Thank you very much.